Welcome to David Game College Horizon Pods.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Anne. In this podcast, we will look at one of our group of colleges, the David Game Higher Education. We will discuss the academic programs offered at certificate, diploma, bachelor, and soon in master's level. With me today is Anne Whitehead, who is Head of Marketing and Communications, but also Manager of Access and Participation. Anne, welcome to Horizon Pods.
A pleasure to be here. Happy to meet with my sister's school. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. Anne, and I'm quite excited because we've got a lot to cover here today.
Yes.
And I know that there's a lot of new developments, which I'm looking forward to hearing, and I'm sure our listeners will as well. But before we start and go straight into the topic, tell me a little bit about your past and also your role here at David Game Higher Education.
Sure. Well, I am Canadian, hence the accent. I'm also British. My dad was British. So eventually, after about a decade in Uganda, and I was all over Canada as well, the French and English parts, I decided to move to England, to my paternal homeland. And it just so happened that David Game himself knew a friend of mine from Uganda, and I met him when I came here, and he said, well, why don't you help us out at David Game College? So I did a bit of work with the team in the GCSE and A levels, and then I met with Dr. Sanders, who's the director of our sister school, David Game Higher Education, and he asked if I could help with their marketing strategy. So I've done a lot of public relations strategy, campaign strategy, research, and I've worked a bit in the education field. I've also worked a bit in the arts, a bit in politics even. And
Good.
now, yeah.
we won't talk about that, which is very topical.
Sure. And now I'm here working with David Game Higher Education. So I'm the head of the marketing and communications department, and we have a team there that does digital marketing, outreach and events, all sorts of interesting things happening. And then we've also signed up to have an access and participation plan, which is focused on getting underrepresented students, perhaps students from different ethnicities, students from poorer backgrounds, or students who have learning differences, mature students as well, making sure that all of these students who often don't get into your average Russell Group University, how they can succeed in higher education. So I spend a lot of my time focusing on that as well. So that's me, and we are right here in the same building on Jewelry Street, and happy to enjoy the arts and everything else that's going on here.
Excellent, excellent. And let's look at now the college, and let's see what does the college actually offer as far as academic programs is concerned.
Yes, David Game Higher Education provides levels 3 through to 6, which is to say we have foundation courses, specifically one in business. We've got higher national certificates and higher national diplomas, and we have those in business. We have it in public services, and then we've also got degrees, and we've got those in the health and social care, in business, in public services, and the arts. And so right now we're going all the way from our foundation up until getting a top-up degree, and soon we're also going to have some master's degrees.
Oh, that's excellent. And tell me a little bit about the student profile.
So David Game Higher Education is a bit different than your average, say, Russell Group University, in that a lot of our students come in having quite an established life already. Most of our students are mature students, so that means they're over 21. Often they don't have the usual qualifications, so we consider applications from students who possibly don't have an A-level, yet they would like to get into a degree program, and we can look at their work experience. We can look at where they're coming from and where they want to go, and consider if they're a good fit for us. So we have a lot of students in their 30s, we have a lot of students who are parents, we have a lot of students who are in jobs, for example, maybe cleaning or lower level social care jobs, who are looking at moving up in their industry or possibly changing industries, and they need further qualifications to do so. And one thing we do at David Game Higher Education is that that we try to fit more education in less time so that we can provide a study-life balance for our students. So most of our courses are taught only 2 days a week. Several of our HND, that's Higher National Diploma courses, are taught half in person and half online. And that allows for our students to go to work, be there for their kids, and get their education.
That seems to be perfect for those type of students. And what numbers are we talking about, Anne?
So right now we have about 650 students studying across all of our programs. We usually have about 500 at a time in the building, and most of our classes are fairly small, maybe between 10 and 30 students in a classroom, which allows for a lot more one-on-one support with our tutors and lecturers. We've already graduated out around 5,000 or 6,000 students from DGHE, and we've been around. Actually, we just marked our 10-year anniversary along with the 50-year anniversary of the entire group. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. And how many graduates have you had throughout the years?
We've had over 5,000 graduates so far.
Excellent. Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. And how many intakes do you have in a year?
So we actually have 3 intakes in a year. Our first intake is at the end of September, beginning of October, and then we have one at the end of January, beginning of February or March. Our courses are kind of staggered when they begin, and we have a third intake, which is a bit unusual, in May. So we do have students studying all the way through the year on different rotations, depending on when they started, for a year, 2, or even 3 years to finish their programs. And we find that a lot of students do like to join us in January or May because other schools don't necessarily have a new intake at that time.
Right. So are you launching any new programs for this coming September?
We are. So one that's quite exciting is that we found that we've been getting more and more interest in the digital industries, or the digitalization of all industries.
Yes.
So of course we're speaking now in 2024, and in September 2024 we're expecting to roll out a Higher National Diploma in Digital Technologies, and this will have 2 pathways. It's a 2-year program. The first year you get a certificate, the second year you get your Higher National Diploma. The first pathway is in artificial intelligence, and the second pathway is in cybersecurity. So these are 2 industries or skills that are becoming more and more in demand. And that's already open to registration now. We have students coming in and registering. It will be starting in September, and in a couple of years from now, 2026, David Game Higher Education will be graduating students into AI and cybersecurity.
Wow, that's something which is a major topic. I mean, we hear it practically every day, especially the politicians when they're talking about AI.
That's right.
And I think it's important because it's a new phase of within the education sector, and more jobs will be created within that industry. Do you have any short courses at all at the college?
We do have some short courses, and this is something we're moving more towards. So we've just actually launched short courses in Adobe software. We've got one called Meet the Big 3 that's running right now, which is on Photoshop, on Illustrator, and InDesign. And that's 3 full days, 3 weeks in a row. So actually it's a Monday as we record, and we have students studying right now. And we're rolling this out to have more design software type of short courses. And as we look forward at the way that England's higher education is going, it looks like we're going to have a modularization of courses so that students are able to get funding, as most of our students at DGHE are on student loans. So you'll be able to get loans, and you'll be able to register for courses kind of 1 class at a time rather than an entire degree. And so
does that mean you're going to build your credits?
Yeah. And I think, well, I'm still learning about it, to be honest with you, Theo.
Yes.
But from what I understand, students don't necessarily have to take all credits in a degree. They can just take a course if they find that interesting. So, for example, we have some classes about artificial intelligence and its applications to industry. And we hope that in the future we can start some short courses about that as well.
Right.
So we're starting with Adobe now, and then who knows, knows, by the time someone hears this podcast, we may have more for you. Check the DGHE website.
I'm sure. You mentioned level 3 to level 6.
Yes.
Level 6 is undergraduate.
That's right.
Level. Which partner universities do you work with?
So for the way that DGHE is providing our programs, we give franchise degrees for what is called a top-up. So we have our own higher national diplomas. The first 2 years of your degree is through Pearson programs, and those ones we give out at DGHE. And then we have
and those is that level 4 and 5, yes?
That's right, yeah, that's level 4 and 5.
Correct.
And so we have, for example, one in public services, and then once you have your diploma, your higher national diploma in public services, you can take one more year and then you get a degree in criminology. And that one is with our partner university, the University of Gloucestershire, which is quite far away. My apologies for my Canadian accent if I'm not saying that quite right. It's a mouthful, Gloucestershire. Yes.
Yes.
And then we also have business top-ups. So if you get your HND in business at DGHE, then you can have a top-up to have a full degree in business management. And that one is with New Buckinghamshire University. So we have New Buckinghamshire, which we call Bucks, and then we have Gloucestershire University. We like to call them Gloss. Those are our two partners.
What percentage of students choose then to go from level 5 to level 6?
This varies a lot from one course to the next, but about half of our HND grads do continue their top-up with us. In addition to the HND and top-ups, DGHE does offer bachelor degrees in business management with a foundation year. We also have bachelors in health and social care, and that's Health and Social Care Leadership and Management, BSc. We've got a certificate as well in higher education, Health and Social Care, which many students use as a pathway into the healthcare degree.
You mentioned that a lot of the students obtain student finance. Could you say a little bit about the student finance and who would be eligible for it and how is it applied for and so forth?
Sure. So we have a student finance department where we have a couple of professionals speak with our students and help them with their application with the student loans company to make sure that they are able to access that finance. So this is not my personal expertise, but what I know is that this is something that any UK resident can access. So we do have citizens, born and raised in the UK. We also have settled status Europeans who have been here for quite a while, and they can access this as well. And so what happens is that as you register as a student, we ask you if you've had student finance in the past, because many, like I mentioned, many of our students are mature students. Some of them have done some studying in the past, and there's a limit on how many years you can be funded. But usually there's room for students to continue having some funding. And if they are eligible in the sense that they're a resident of the UK, they have some years ahead of them with SLC, then we help them put their application through. And what they're able to get then is usually the entire tuition cost covered. And in addition to that, they get some maintenance fees. So that helps them cover their day-to-day bills, that sort of thing. Yes. While they study.
Good. Well, that's very interesting, because I think that's an important element that students and our listeners need to know about.
Yes.
Right. Well, so when they finish their bachelor's degree, do a lot of them then want to go into postgrad? A postgraduate qualification.
Right. So I have to admit, we have a lot more work to do to keep up with all of our alumni. I was talking to one of them the other day. She graduated from one of our art and design programs, and she just got into the London University of Arts for her master's degree. So I'm really proud of her. She's always been a go-getter, and so she's pursuing further education. And I know that does happen. I know a few people in particular, but I'm not sure exactly how many. I know that a lot of our students do prefer to get back into work. Again, like I mentioned, a lot of them are mature students. They already have obligations like kids, and so they may, prefer to just get back into the job market. That said, I think a lot of them are looking for further postgraduate opportunities, which is why we are looking at providing them as well.
Okay, so if I was interested then to join DGHE, what would you be able to provide me to entice me to come to DGHE?
Do you mean like what makes us different from another university?
Well, yes, and how would I engage with you in order to be able to find out about you?
Right. Well, I think a lot of our students come in digitally. They find us online, they give us a call, they give us an email. Right now, if you go to dghe.ac.uk, you'll see our website there. And there's even a chat button on the website that pops up. So one of our staff is on the other end and they're happy to talk to you. If they're not in the office at the moment that, say, you decide to chat with us at 3 a.m., then we'll get an email and we'll talk to you when we get up in the morning. So I think usually what we tend to do is find out what the student is interested in, and we invite them in. We help them with their application because it is a lot of paperwork to get these sorts of things started, and we make sure that we understand that your interests fit one of our programs, and if that's the case, then we go ahead with an application. There's a few things that I think tend to show are a better fit for the type of education that we have, which is a small independent provider. So we are able to offer a level of comfort and flexibility that other universities can't. We're not able to give you the full Russell Group campus experience with Frosh Week and a gym. Well, actually, we do have a small gym here. That's right.
We do have a gym here, yeah.
But we don't have as much on the higher education side as a big established campus. But we have more when it comes to, we know the names. Well, you're not just a number at DGHE. We know who's who. We have small class sizes. We have less time on campus, which gives you more time to get to work and pay your bills and live the rest of your life. We're very easy to reach, and we have a lot of financial support. In addition to the scholarships that we just spoke about, we've got a hardship fund, so we support students who maybe are having a crisis paying their rent or are not able to buy a laptop or something going on financially. We've also got some scholarships and bursaries. We help students who are veterans. We help students who were in the care system and are now care leavers. We help students who are from a lower income area or from a lower income family. We help students who are refugees. So there's various different bursaries that we can support with on that side as well. I'd like to mention, we also do offer quite a comprehensive support when it comes to well-being and mental health, which includes extra support for students with learning differences and special needs. Plus, we have a career advisor available to help all our students and our alumni.
Very good, very good. Do you have any kind of taste sessions at all within the college that you can offer to students?
Great question. That's actually something we've been working on this year. So my outreach officer and I have been looking at how we kind of develop relationships with communities that are closer to home, but we don't know them so well. For example, we here in Aldgate on Drury Street, we're very close to the Tower Hamlets community, which has a lot of Bengali people. It has a lot of small business owners, and we've just started doing some outreach sessions with these communities, and we've started to develop a kind of menu of activities that we are doing as outreach activities, which are like taster sessions of what it's like to be in one of our classes. So we recently had one from our head of business about presentation skills. We've had a couple with different homeless organizations that are arts skills. We had one with a local school, A-level and GCSE students, about criminology. And we're putting together one now that is real-world research skills, which I like to pitch as do your own research, to kind of help people think about what is a legitimate source, how do you navigate online research tools, and give people a taster into, maybe it's worth getting back into academia, since we're always arguing with each other about our opinions on things. How do we actually research things well and enjoy it? So if you are interested in that, take a look at our social media, DGHE, David Game Higher Education. We'll always post it there. We put things on Eventbrite. We share it in our newsletter, on our website. So if you're looking for us, you'll be able to find, and you're also welcome to call in and ask.
That's excellent, and I'm sure many do.
Yes.
Let's now talk a little bit about the future.
Sure.
If you can, you highlighted some courses, but if there are any other courses that you're expecting in 2025, and there's going to be some change in the student profile.
That's right. So, as I mentioned earlier, we're in a certain few subject areas: business, health and social care, public services, and criminology. And now we've been doing art and design. We're looking more into digital and creative technologies. So in these areas, we want to branch into postgraduate studies, because we find that a lot of our students and other students are contacting us looking for master's programs. So we're now in development with our partners, 3 different master's programs. One is going to be in business, one is going to be in health, and the other one will be in public services and criminology. So these will allow for pathways past our undergraduate degree into graduate. And the big news about this is that we are going to open up to international students.
Right.
So currently DGHE is only recruiting home students, and yet at least a third of our applicants every intake are international, and we're not able to say yes. Right. And we've been waiting for the right opportunity to roll out international recruitment, and it looks like that is going to happen in the year ahead. So by September 2025, we will be accepting international students, which is very exciting.
Very good news, and we will look forward to that, because David Game College, basically the majority of its students are international.
That's right.
So that'll be a good blend.
Yes, and speaking of blend, there is already an amazing cultural blend at DGHE. I mean, everyone in my team is from a different culture, a different country, and we've just been kind of piggybacking on the nature of London, I think, in that so many of our staff and our home students are from different cultures. But it'll be really great to welcome people who are coming to the UK for the first time as well.
That's excellent, and I wish you good luck with that. We're coming to the end of the program, and I just want you to give me a final message from DGHE.
Oh, what do I say? Well, first of all, thank you so much for welcoming me here. If I was to say one thing, I think that we'd like to welcome all the other parts of David Game College Group into DGHE. We'd love to see some DGC students come our way. We'd love for some of the staff and students and friends of the college group to join our activities, check out our courses, and let's do some more together.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Anne, for coming onto our podcast. And for more information on all of our courses and any topics discussed in today's podcast, this can be found on davidgamecollege.com. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.